Dry, inhospitable, remote, and a treasure. The historic Mojave Road is one of the few remaining pioneer routes across the West that mostly remains in its original condition. The 150-mile drive is a must for any adventurous off-roader, with its incredible scenery, interesting fauna and flora, golden sunsets, and quirky attractions along the way. We were spending 2 weeks exploring the Mojave and Sonoran deserts and had picked up the famous road in the evening looking for a place to camp for the night. There were fantastic trails and experiences ahead, but we had no idea that we'd be facing catastrophic failure and worse. I've been looking forward to this trip for a really long time, not just because I'm out in the beautiful Mojave Desert, but also because I've got my family with me, and I'm looking forward to showing them around as well. In particular, my son, who has changed so much since the last video that he was on. He's now really chatty, really aware of the world, and he loves looking at things, touching things, and listening to things, so I can't wait to show him the desert. We woke up to the colourful desert flowers blooming all around us. I'd never seen the desert like I did on this trip, with splashes of colour in every direction. We were excited to see more, including the famous Joshua trees, so packed up, ready to head west on the Mojave Road. Despite extensive travel by Native Americans, the first documented use of the Mojave Trail was in 1776 when it was used by Spanish missionaries traveling to California. For decades after, it was used by traders and settlers, becoming known as the Mojave Road Wagon Trail in 1858, following the Mexican-American War after the land was ceded by Mexico. So we've stopped because Elizabeth has to do an interview for work. One of the really nice things about the habitat is it takes about as much time to set up as a standard awning. So we're gonna go up there, eat some lunch, and play while she does her interview. Along the road are a number of small attractions left by visitors over the years that have developed into traditions that are upheld by people passing through. The first one we came across was the penny can tree. Some say it's good luck to add a penny to the can. We didn't have a penny, so we dropped in a quarter, which should, in theory, bring us 25 times as much luck.
Like this? Yep. So windy. Ready? You put it in here. Oh, yay!
Most of the road was in excellent shape, but shortly after crossing Cedar Canyon Road for the first time, we came across some deep and challenging moguls on a slope so steep that I couldn't stop to get out and check my progress. If you want to bypass this, it can easily be done by taking the maintained Cedar Canyon Road until it next crosses the Mojave Road about a mile further down. With the high clearance, it was okay, even with Elizabeth directing me right into the middle of one of the deepest holes, leaving us very off camber.
Maybe turn more right.
A short distance further is the Rock House. It was built in 1929 by a World War I veteran who had suffered a poison gas attack during the war. He had been told he only had a short time to live, so had moved to the desert for its dry air. It paid off, and he lived out of the remote house for another 25 years.
Oof, doesn't work. So sad.
The route of the Mojave Road is dictated by springs, such as the one by Rock House. Water is a precious resource in the desert and can be found roughly every 20 to 30 miles along the trail. In other places, wells were dug, like the ones at Government Holes, which were used by competing cattle ranchers and homesteaders trying to make a living off the dry land.
We just stumbled upon this beautiful campsite completely by chance. We're driving down the road, I had Onyx open to the satellite view and noticed a little road going off to the side. I had a couple of open spots on the satellite image. Come down here and find out it's 2 designated campsites with just incredible views across the valley behind me over to some sand dunes. So I really like this spot. So we're gonna set up here and do some work. So thank goodness for Starlink. It's been working really well on this trip. Elizabeth does stuff with data that I don't really understand. And of course I've got some YouTube videos to edit and upload. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you should definitely subscribe. It's my goal to make it to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And right now only 10 to 15% of my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you're not already, I'd love to have you. Plus, if you are enjoying this video, I'm making a lot more like it. I'm really glad that I've got this trash caddy from iCamper on this trip, because someone has been producing some real stinkers. And usually you put the trash bag in the floor of the vehicle. Not anymore. So this thing came in the day before I left to come out on this trip. I'm really glad that I've got it. I feel like this one's a good compromise between price point and durability. I've had a couple of cheap ones before, including one that was shredded after just one trip on the highway. I did also have the trash roo, lasted a little bit longer than that. But this one, you know, pretty durable. Straps onto the spare tire really well so it doesn't sag like the trash roo does. If you want one of these, they're from iCamper, but we've got them along with a bunch of other iCamper stuff on my website at revereoverland.com, and I'll put a link to this one in the description. So now that we're done packing up, we can continue along the Mojave Road, and we have some really cool points of interest to see today.
With Joshua Tree National Park a short drive to the south, you'd think that it would be the place to go to see Joshua trees, but the Mojave National Preserve actually has better concentrations of the trees as you enter higher elevations. This part of the road has seemingly endless whoops that make travel slow. Of course, we still had it easy compared to the early travelers who chose this path due to the relatively mild climates. There's no snow in the winter and better access to water. Despite being a great route for them, crossing the Mojave Road was often a dangerous task. The hostilities between the native Mojave people and the settlers triggered the Mojave War. Some of the warriors employed guerrilla warfare by raiding and then fading into the desert. The American army was forced to establish a presence in the area to protect the settlers by building several forts across the desert.
Alright. We're gonna go check the mail. See if you got any. So, in the mailbox, you have a ton of water. You're not interested in water, are you? You want some Cheetos? You might like those. Yeah, you want some Cheetos? What else we got back here? I've got a lot of snacks. Paper, more snacks, coins, more, lots of water. Lots of water, lots of coins. Oh, here we go. Oh, I like this one. Do you want a little badge? It says get out and play, Bishop, California. Well, one of the things about the mailbox is if you're gonna take something, you gotta leave something. So, I'll leave some patches. You take that. Yeah, you hold that. There you go. You put it in there. You can put it in the mailbox, or you can put it in your mouth. There you go. Right, like this. Put it in the mailbox. Like this. There. So around here are a bunch of gardens, apparently. So we're gonna go take a look and see if we can find some of them. I don't know where they are. Oh, there's one. You see it? Well, we made it out to the lava tubes, so we're going to take him up and somehow squeeze in with him on my back.
This is ominous. It's a lava tube, I'm assuming.
That's the entrance.
Is it really?
Yeah, after you.
No, it is not. I'm not getting in there.
Going that way.
Peekaboo. Hi. Peekaboo.
From the lava tubes, we followed a large lava bed west to find a spot to camp for the night.
We found ourselves a beautiful campsite in a lava flow just off the Mojave Road, and I am still in the Mojave National Preserve. And some of you might be wondering how I'm able to do that, since this is a commercial film. You know, it's on YouTube, it's monetized, I've got affiliate links, and I am filming in land that is managed by the National Park Service. Well, I did email them asking about permits, and they told me that I don't need a film permit because even though I am filming commercially, my filming does not have the potential to impact park resources and visitors beyond what occurs from normal visitor use of park areas. So, I guess I'm allowed to film here. The problem I'm having is that different national parks have different approaches. So hopefully all of that is cleared up soon. If you are planning on filming for YouTube in a national park, I would suggest contacting them. In fact, even if you're planning on coming here, I would still suggest sending them an email just to make sure. Well, we are all packed up and ready to leave camp, and this has been a pretty slow trip. Usually the Mojave Road takes between 2 and 3 days to do. Obviously we've been much slower than that because Elizabeth's been working and we've been taking care of a baby. But today is Saturday, so we should be able to make some pretty good progress.
The The day started with us crossing the wide open, windswept valley known as Devil's Playground before dropping down to Soda Lake. The Mojave River has no outlet and instead drains into Soda Lake. The river brings in minerals that are deposited as the river water dries. Even in the summer, the lake bed is very soft, so you need to stick to the road. In wet years, water from the river spreads out under the surface, creating a sticky mess that cannot be driven across. At the far end of Soda Lake is Traveler's Monument, where tradition states that you bring a rock to add to the pile.
Alright, ready? Here's your rock. Can you hold it? Yeah, ready? Say whee!
While you're there, make sure you read the commemorative plaque at the top.
That's awesome.
Last time we came through here, we got really lost. There's lots of paths and roads that split off in every direction, and I had forgotten to download the offline maps on Onyx. And Onyx are the sponsor of this video, and this time around I have remembered to download those offline maps. So we got up on CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, on the big screen in the Tundra, and I've got a nice blue line to follow that tells me where to go for the Mojave Road. And it is like that for thousands of trails across the US. You've got these curated routes that tell you exactly where to go, and you can use it kind of like Google navigation. And they have actually updated the app recently, so you can create your own routes on there now and use that on the big screen to follow as well, especially if you want to link together multiple curated trails that Onyx have created. If you want to learn more, I will put a link in the description so that you can go check out Onyx. You can save a little bit of money using that link. And now, hopefully, this time around, we won't get lost.
The Mojave River Wash dune field is covered in soft, shifting sands which are quick to hide tire tracks. To aid in navigation, there are piles of rocks and poles sticking out of the ground, although they can be easy to miss. At the far end of the wash, you cross under the railroad and enter Afton Canyon, where you'll find a short hike to Spooky Canyon. Before setting out, we practice putting our child to work by handing him the camera. There's definitely room for improvement, so we'll keep working on that. Spooky Canyon is a narrow slot canyon with high walls. As you walk further, the path gets narrower and the walls lean in. Corners start to get darker to the point where all but a few shafts of sunlight are blocked out. If you want to go all of the way, you'll need a flashlight and be prepared to climb some steep slopes. As you head west along Afton Canyon, you'll start to see water from the Mojave River. There's often not a lot, but is surprisingly low this year, especially when considering the snowfall that parts of California had.
Well, we made it back to the interstate and we're getting ready to head west looking for a campground with showers and laundry facilities because I need a proper wash and I need to wash my clothes as well. I'm completely out as of this morning and we need to wash some of the baby stuff as well. So today has been a very slow day. Got started late, did laundry, resupplied, and then really slowly made our way down to Gold Camp Road or Old Dale Road. And we're just off it now at a beautiful little campsite that we found. If you do end up coming out here, you're one of my Patreon subscribers and you follow the tracks or the waypoints that I share, be careful because someone has been burning pallets out here, so they've left a bunch of nails, but they did also leave us a boomerang, which we're going to give a go. Let's try this way around. Oh, it's that way around. Good to pull to the ground.
It was even worse. All right, let me try. You ready to see a pro?
Baby right there. Okay, not that way anymore.
All right, over here.
Alright, I'm in the safe zone.
Round two. I really thought I was gonna be good at it.
So, who's better?
Neither of us.
No, who's better?
Neither of us.
Who's better?
Excuse me, I saw the one where it bounced at your
Okay,
feet.
well, at least mine flew.
Did it? All right.
Yes.
Let's do it again.
Still recording.
Good.
Okay, it flew.
Yeah.
It didn't come back, but it flew.
Yeah. That's me shown.
Okay, so neither of us are winning any prizes for that. I could take it in practice, but I think I'm just going to leave it here for the next person.
From camp, we went south along some of the worst washboard roads that I'd ever driven towards Old Dale Road and the entrance to Joshua Tree National Park. as we passed over the hills, the road became rough and rocky. There weren't any particularly challenging obstacles, and four-wheel drive probably isn't required for this road, but high clearance is definitely needed to clear the rocks. Once inside the park, we headed for the more interesting west half, where most of the hikes and attractions are found. If you end up camping at Joshua Tree, keep in mind it seems to be set up for tent camping. There are a lot of parking spots and then huge campsites next to them, but you can't drive your truck into the campsites. So we're kind of awkwardly parked, taking up 2 spots next to a huge campsite that we're using a tiny corner of, the tiny shaded corner of. Leaving the park, we took Purdue Canyon Road, which is mildly technical but very scenic.
Now that we're out of the canyon, this is the end of our Mojave Desert part of the trip. But since we're in Southern California, we do have a couple of other places we're going to visit while we're in the area. A few days later, we were back out in the desert, this time on the edge of the Sonoran Desert in Arizona. Good morning from outside of Phoenix, Arizona, where it is approximately 1 billion degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius. It is stinking hot here. It is mid-May. We're getting ready to head up to Overland Expo West. Basically got about 2.5 days to get there. So we're starting here in Phoenix, and we're gonna make our way to Flagstaff using as many unpaved roads as possible. I've got my family with me, got Elizabeth and the baby, and we brought Sean from the Story Till Now along with us as well.
What's our goal for today? Like, do we have any destination in mind, or are we just going as far as we can go?
I think we'll just go as far as we can go. I've never actually been the way we're going, so I have no idea what it's going to be like other than this one little section we're on now.
The road we were taking was the first recommended trail I'd ever found on Onyx when I first signed up a few years previously, so I knew it was a good one with fantastic views. The rest of the planned route was all new, and I was really looking forward to exploring different areas of Arizona.
Super cool scenery on this road.
I think there's a snake in the trail ahead of us.
I'm just gonna stay in my truck.
Be careful of this deep water crossing.
Epic. This road just goes up and up forever. What lake is that down there?
That is the Theodore Roosevelt Lake.
Must be an important guy. There's all sorts of stuff named after him.
I know why he's famous. He's the one that they came across that mountain that's got his face on it.
So, which exit are we taking out of the roundabout?
We were looking for a place to eat lunch when the day was ruined.
Hey, I think my drive shaft just broke.
Things were looking bad.
Just flopping around there.
I think maybe the U-joint broke. Yeah, the drive shaft's just flopping around. And I wonder if it took out the linkage. Probably flopping around, it took out the linkage. But I don't know why it's spewing fluid. Unless the drive shaft also wrecks something else.
But you need a Rubicon transfer case and a front drive shaft repair.
If you have any tips for me that you think of, let me know.
You ever bought a Toyota?
We're gonna look at renting a trailer. Probably leave Sean's Jeep over here somewhere, either here on the roadside or I can pull it over. There's a campground just up the road. And then we'll drive around to Phoenix and pick up a trailer to tow him with and take him up to Flagstaff that way.
Well, I'm in. Okay, let's do this.
For an hour and a half.
Definitely gonna need this.
I'd just like to take a moment to point out that this is the guy who told me.
That's too big.
5 hours later, when we got back, he sure was glad that I had a full-size truck to tow his Jeep back with. Loading it up was a struggle. Putting a 7-foot wide Jeep on a 7-foot wide trailer is tough at the best of times, but we found one of the ramps was missing. Not only that, but I wasn't able to spot. Sean's Jeep was heavy enough that it was taking weight off my parking brake and pushing everything forwards, so I had to sit in my truck with my foot on the brake. Eventually, after using my spare tire as a ramp, we got him up and loaded and made it back to the hotel at 1 a.m.
Getting this onto this trailer was so hard. It is like right up against the tires. I can't believe I even got it on there.
Yeah, the back of the truck's squatting just a little bit, so we're good. So it's pretty central.
The next day, we had a 2-hour drive north through the mountains to Prescott, where Summit 4x4 had a bay open and waiting.
So we just made it to Summit 4x4 in Prescott, Arizona. So we're getting unloaded here. They're going to take care of Sean's truck. Everyone's been super helpful. This place came really highly recommended. The trailer rental place we went to last night was AR Rentals in Phoenix. They stayed late to help us get this hooked up. So they were great as well. If you're in Phoenix and you're looking to rent, like a trailer, lawnmower, wood chipper, any of those random things, check them out too. So you can get this taken off. They said they're going to take it in and take a look at it as soon as they can, even though they're here getting ready for Expo.
Alright, definitely looks fixable, man.
That's what I like to hear.
For sure. We'll get the case put on there, the drive shaft, and give it just a good once-over and get you back on the road, man.
Appreciate it.
While they were working on the Jeep, our friend Caleb took us on a tour of the Adventure Import shop, where they have stacks and stacks of Maxtrax and a pristine Jeep LJ. After that, we attended some expo where it rained and we saw a truck, and finally,
the Jeep is fixed. Back on the road.
Let's go wheel in.
Let's go adventure. You want to go to camp at that Grand Canyon overlook I did a few weeks back, a couple of months back?
Obviously. High five? High five? Yeah.
So we're going to load back up and make up for some lost time by going out to a campsite that I visited a couple of months back and didn't get to stay at. Well, we did not make it to the Grand Canyon overlook that I wanted to get to, so I still don't get to camp there. We made it to the trailhead, but it's getting late, and there's still a decent way to go. Baby's getting kind of tired. It's time to put him to bed. It's not fair to keep him up really late just because we want to get somewhere. So I found this okay spot, and it means that first thing tomorrow morning, we can go and we can video in the daylight. So I'll see you in the morning. So last night, while Sean and I were chatting, we saw this little mouse running around on the back of my truck. And I shut the tailgate, and it looked like it had kind of gone, and he thought he saw it running away. But at about 3 a.m., this little guy woke up screaming at the top of his lungs, and we could not get him settled down. And we noticed that he was bleeding. He's got little cuts on his hand, a bunch of them on this hand. And when I looked at his bed, that same mouse was sitting on his bed. So the poor guy has been attacked by a mouse. Pretty bad. Got several bites on his hand that we found after we cleaned it up. Thankfully, we got a little MyMedic kit in there, so we have some of those antibacterial wipes, antiseptic wipes. So I wiped it down, treated it, but it is looking a little worse this morning on one of those bites. So we're done. We're gonna go head over to St. George and get it checked out, and then find a place to either camp or a hotel so we can wash all of his bedding as well. And then we're going home because we've got to go home on Wednesday. I've got a flight Wednesday 11 a.m. We're going to leave the truck in Salt Lake City so that we can come back out here for Overland Expo Pacific Northwest, where we will be in the Onyx booth. So thanks for watching. We'll be back and we'll try again at Expo. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. I figured I'd give you one more update just so you can see how he's doing. We ended up taking him to the urgent care clinic, and they checked him over, said he was fine, but gave him a week's worth of antibiotics just as a precaution. And he's basically been happy, doing well ever since. So that's it. And I think he's ready and excited for his next trip. Thanks for watching.